Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. First Nighter. This is your host, John Batchelder, welcoming you to your theater. It's almost curtain time. Shall we go right in?
Program, souvenir program. Get your souvenir programs here. Program, souvenir program.
Here are your seats for the best in Broadway, performed by the United States Marine Band and presented by the men and women of the United States Marine Corps. And the house lights dim.
As a kid, one of my favorite things to do was to take a road trip. I still remember my father behind the steering wheel, the sweeping turns of country back roads, the smell of fresh pine trees slithering in open windows. This particular day, we were heading to my grandparents' house. 45-minute ride on the back roads. Father hated using highways. Said the only people traveled those highways were fools in a rush and lazy people who wanted to stay in bed too long and didn't know how to manage their time. It's a sunny day, not a cloud in the sky. I remember the sun was that bright yellow, not like this scorching white hot sun we have these days. We're riding along the road and see a man standing there waving us down. He's got hunting clothes on, olive green vest, brown pants, green cap on his head. As we approach, he steps into the road. Father slams on the brakes, and then I notice he's bleeding, blood running down his sleeve, his wrist, onto the hood of the car. "Help me! Help me!" This look of dread in his eyes. I never seen a man look like that before. Father jumps out of the car. He grabs him, pushing my father back towards the driver's side door, telling him we needed to go. As the two of them are tangled up in this tussle, him trying to force himself and my father back into the car, a rifle comes flying out of the wood lines. Remember the old school wooden boomerangs? That angle that they were created with? Well, that's how this rifle was bent. It comes flying out of the wood lines, spinning right over the hood of the car, and clocks this man on the side of the head. And right then and there is when I first saw Bigfoot. It's standing right outside in the open, huge chest, no neck, muscular shoulders, slim waist, looked like a giant human mixed with a freaking baboon. It's bleeding from its waist and has this huge wound. Then it decides to roar and scream so loud that it hurts my freaking ears. Understand, when this happened, I'm a 9-year-old child. I remember closing my eyes, the car door closing, us speeding off, my father's breathing. It was so heavy. Can't say how fast we drove because I had my eyes closed, but it was above the speed limit for sure. And secondly, we had to be going super duper fast because I remember the car sliding to a stop in my grandmother's driveway. Father getting out and pulling me out of the car, taking me into the house. Then my grandmother on the phone with the sheriff, him coming to the house about an hour later. They're all standing outside talking. I'm upstairs listening through an open window, and the sheriff saying, "Yeah, we went out there and found the rifle, but there's no body there. All we found were bloody drag marks across the road." "You think it took him?" my grandfather says. The sheriff replies, "Well, if he shot it or hurt it, yes sir, it probably did take him. Not much we can do about that. But it's hunting season." "Yes sir, but what can we do? We still don't even know who the hell he was." Now, when all of them come back inside, I questioned them, asking them about the sheriff, and they refused to talk to me. It wasn't until about a week later, when I decided to draw what I saw through that window, that my dad explained to me what it actually was. A Bigfoot, the woodsman, this giant race of people that lived in the woods of Kentucky. He told me, if I ever see one of those things, I need to carry my ass in the opposite direction, just like he did.